Well, welcome once again. This is the Doctor of Digital podcast, and my special guest today is Dan Radu. He is the president and founder of Macro, which is a global B2B marketing agency. So we have some questions for you today. How does digital marketing support your marketing strategy? How to leverage digital technology to enhance a customer experience? Or tech debt? How are you overinvesting or possibly overinvesting in MarTech? So we got some questions for Dan. Dan, thanks for being on the show today. Welcome. Glad to see you today. How are you?
Good to be here, Mick. I'm great. I'm fantastic.
That is great to hear. So, a lot of people are interested. So, could you tell us a little bit about your background and how is it that you got into digital marketing in the first place?
Well, I started 10 years ago founding the agency. My ambition was always to have a global agency, a global workforce. So, Macro today is a global digital marketing and operations agency with technology expertise in Adobe, Salesforce, and HubSpot technologies. Global marketing teams that we work with come to us when they need an extension of their team.
Mhm.
What I like to think of is we're a B2B digital partner of record. That's how we like to consider ourselves.
I see. So you've been in the field for 10 years. And so, like a lot of things in technology, they change pretty drastically. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the biggest changes that you have seen and experienced over the past 10 years?
There certainly has been some changes. In the beginning, 10 years ago, and more than 10 years ago, before that, a lot of the marketing was very ad hoc. There were just very few tactics possible to support a go to marketing strategy of a company. And very little of that was really enabled by the tools and the digital technologies that we have. So, some of the changes that we see now is um, a lot of a lot of different tools and platforms from different vendors that come together. They joined and they merged, and they offer a breadth of functionality for an enterprise to take advantage of to build what's called marketing stack.
Mm.
And a lot of changes that we've seen over the year is as well in going to market directly, but also with channel partners. And we've seen a lot of tools develop into this channel marketing space as well. Some of these tools, for example, manage the relationships between a vendor and its partners. Some of them manage the marketing between a vendor and its partners, and all of that. It's really creating a lot of how to call it, well, it's what we call confusion in some way, for lack of a much better word,
Mm-hmm.
for the modern marketers. In modern marketing departments, we see a lot of marketing managers and directors simply just don't know how to leverage and use, or they don't have the teams don't have the capabilities internally to manage all these systems and tools. And that's really where we think that we bring a big advantage to companies.
I say there's a lot of complexity. I would guess you would say that's the confusion or the complexity of the marketplace.
Yes, certainly. It's the capabilities required for a company to run a solid tech stack
Mm.
in order to implement their go-to-market strategy. It's very demanding.
Seems so. Now we've given an overview of the changes that you've seen, and now here we are in 2023 in March. What would you say, if anything, would be the hot growth areas, having given a lot of change in the background and the overview? What were the hot areas? What should people be looking at currently right now?
Among our clients, so our ideal customer profile is usually a B2B large tech company that goes to market both directly and through a channel. What we see as a hot growth area is this channel marketing, and going to aligning business plans with with your partners, doing co-marketing campaigns, managing incentives for the right partners you
Mm.
choose to go to market with. We see a lot of those strategies being very fruitful in the past few years. More companies invest more resources in that and draw more business from those strategies.
Mhm. So if we've talked about some of the hot growth areas and some of the changes, a lot of people are looking for advice. So let's say you're your typical client that you're dealing with, and what kinds of things should they be looking for? So if you're a business owner or a CEO currently, and how would you advise them? What sorts of things should they be aware of, and what should they be considering currently?
So, a business owner or a VP or a director of a large company, they should be really looking at their team and see what expertise they have in house. They should be looking at what tools they have, what systems, and how those systems enable their strategy. And once they have a strategy and they have the tools and they have the people, they have to really think about how everything comes together. What would be the teams? Who would be responsible for what process? How will this support the go-to-market strategy? And then what's very important is to understand the gaps that there are.
Mm.
Maybe there's a hiring plan if you're missing some staff members, or maybe you can look for another solution. Maybe some of the tools you have work well, or they don't play well with the tools that um, the other tools that you have in your stack. Maybe you can consolidate some vendors in
Mm.
and that will support you. But then if you do that, the challenge is how are you going to roll out those changes? What would be um, what type of resources do you need, and what does that plan look like to run, to create new integrations or to change those processes?
Sure.
So when a business owner looks at that, or if you're a decision maker in a big company, you have to decide, okay, this makes sense to be done in-house, or this has
Mm.
can be done with a partner, and what capabilities are required for that partner to have. Is that partner able to understand marketing strategy, or are they just able to do technical work? You have to think about things like what is the right engagement model. Do you want to manage services, project-based, retainer? All of this make a difference. And frankly, maybe even a lot of business owners might not be familiar with what those type of engagements are and what the
Mhm.
differences are between those. For example, are you buying just hours? Are you buying deliverables? Are you retaining people, or are you returning a service? All of that makes a difference.
Sure. So when you're speaking of these things, so what types of digital marketing expertise do you have? And when you connect with business owners, how can you assist them? And the reason I ask this question is often because there's a lot of digital marketers out there. And so what is it that you can do that you would say can assist a business owner, a CEO, or someone in a company?
So our team is global and it's familiar with technologies like Adobe, Salesforce, and HubSpot. So if companies are looking to bring on board this type of technologies to use for their go-to-market strategy, or if they want to switch from one technology but they're not happy with it and want to switch to another one, we can help them with that. That's what we can help them. So we bring both technical expertise and also global resources that are really able to support a global marketing team. So if you have different regional teams, or have different initiatives in certain languages, or certain within those regions, then Macro has those resources that can be an extension of your team.
Yeah, because you said something about there's a gap, and I think that's probably what's key here, that you're filling in some gaps that perhaps a company does not have.
Exactly. So those gaps could be people, those could be knowledge gaps, those gaps could be even technology platform gaps.
Mhm. All right. So you have a number of areas, and also I would say always global is good because what I find that is that it keeps things rolling, it keeps things going, and this has been the great thing that I've seen about the whole digital transformation anyway. That if you have a global workforce, people can be working all the time because somewhere in the world you can find somebody to keep working. And that's why I find the advantage of that.
Exactly. So we really try to keep a well-oiled machine running around the clock.
And that's it. And that's what I found. A lot of clients are very happy with that because by the time they come in for their next day, somebody has been working on the issue that they had gone to bed with, worrying about, and solved the next day. So very
That's a beautiful
interesting.
thing.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and that's the thing that brings a lot of us together with the digital transformation. So, a number of expertise areas that you have expressed with the changes that you have made, and the things that you're saying are the hot topics you've given some people to think about. How is it that they would reach out to you, or what would you suggest they want to get a hold of you, and they would like to involve your expertise in their business?
Well, the best way is if you go to revenueoperations.agency. So revenueoperations.agency. That's where you'll find us. The company is called Macro, and you can just take it from there. We're happy to do strategy sessions with clients. We're happy to sit down, review where clients are in this digital transformation journey, what capabilities are needed, and we can bounce ideas and can make a plan where that's mutually beneficial for us and the client.
Yeah, sounds good. And you have a combination between strategy, conversation, and global expertise. A lot of things that are really of value to a lot of companies. Yep. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your time, taking out some time from your schedule and being able to come on the show. Much obliged.
Thanks, Mick. It's been a pleasure.
Good deal. So if anybody else wants to reach out, please do. Gave some contact information. And also, thank you for listening. And if you've listened also to the end, we have a complimentary website analysis. Any website that you have, we'll take a look at. I'll also analyze it and send you some information. So with that, thank you, Dan, for coming today. Until the next exciting episode of the Doctor of Digital podcast, we'll see you next time. Take care and Deus Vol.
Take care.